Hey, chicks, let's chat. So listen, in the last few days, the people closest to me, family, friends, been experiencing a loss that we took. And I'm just, I always try to find a lesson in everything that I go through and figure out how to grow from it, learn from it, what to, do better, do different, you know, maybe get answers to some of the whys. Why does this happen? Why does that happen? What are we doing? And just pay attention to a lot. So it's a lot of things I've been realizing. One thing in particular is that grief hits people very different and very hard. And I believe that there has to be a certain art to grieving. Like, you have to choose to have a certain art to grieving, because if you don't, it can just take over you, and you can find yourself so engulfed in the grief that it almost seems like you're gonna make yourself sick. You're gonna make yourself depressed. You're gonna make yourself, and I just say, to anybody who doesn't handle grief well, the first thing you need to do is know that you don't handle grief well. So when something happens, you need to start preparing yourself, like, going to get you setting up some counseling dates, some counseling time, some counseling, venues, having a person, having like a person around you, a person, that you could touch base with, like, for redirection, for reassurance, whatever you may need, because during grief times, it really tests you. It tests your mental capacity, how much you're able to withstand mentally, how much you're able to withstand emotionally. And what I realize is that grief can take you down a dark space that, you can find yourself not being able to get out of. One thing we know is that when we go through different things in life, those things change us. The positive things change us, as well as the negative things change us. And if we do not handle the negative things in the right way, we're gonna get changed for the worse. So it's just been a real eye opener. Sometimes you are so caught up in your grief that you can't necessarily pay attention to what's going on, how other people grieving. And in this particular case, although I'm bothered and I'm hurt by what happened, the way that I choose to look at the situation brings me more peace and more comfort. So that minimizes the grief that I experience and that I show and that I actually, tote on my shoulders. It doesn't minimize the love or the loss, but it does minimize the grief. And I'm happy to know that, to know that I'm able to, handle things in a certain way in this particular case, especially when I'm sitting up, I'm observing, and I see that, like, a lot of people just don't handle grief well, and for me, that's a dangerous place to be in when you don't handle grief well, because one thing about it is certain things in life that we already know gonna bring us hurt. But those things are things that are out of our control. So to me, those are the things that we first and foremost have to be able to reconcile with. Because, hey, once God do his thing and he allows certain things to happen and that person is gone, it's nothing me, you, he, she, them, or they can do to change that. God has spoken. And, no matter, you can't cry them back to life. You can't moan and whine and Facebook or Instagram post them back to life. When they gone, they gone. And if you allow yourself to be too caught up in the grief, you are officially traveling down a slippery slope. And you have to understand that, you have to know that, and you have to know that before time, so when it happens, you're able to better navigate the situation. The other thing that I'm noticing is that If only we could be more intentional about expressing how we feel about people, especially when it's positive. We have it on the letting the person know how we feel when it's negative, but we have to get more intentional about expressing those things when it's coming from a positive place. Because a lot of times, if people only knew how they made our day, how they made us laugh, how they encouraged us, if people only knew that, I believe that for a lot of people that would be enough for them to say, you know what, I got to do something different to stay around, at least to try to stay around a little longer, because I make a difference in this person's life. And I know that because they've told me that. I know that because they've shown me that. I really just feel like, you know, we do a lot of high praise and you know, give a lot of accolades after the fact. And who we giving them to then? Because that person may never know what they meant to you. They'll never read it. Their children will. Their parents will. You know, maybe their spouses, their loved ones will. But what did it do for them while they was here? To not know that they had that much of an impact in your life. And, you know, so it leads me to wonder, you know, is some of the stuff that you see after the fact, is some of that stuff for show, for attention, for just to say, hey, I knew them too, just to be a part of something, or is it all really genuine? I can't believe that all of it is really genuine, because if that much love, that much honor, that much respect was being poured in and shown and told and upheld in these people's lives, surely they would have to walk a different walk. Surely something in them will be inspired to move different. Even when sometimes my homegirls, them just tell me, listen, man, I come to you for this, that, or the third. I respect what you tell me. You know what that made me? Instantly, that makes me feel like I have to be more accountable with my thoughts and my presentation and what I say, because my words hold weight in this person's heart, in this person's mind, in this person's life, even if it don't hold no weight nowhere else. So I'm very intentional about what I say, how I say, when I'm talking to them, because they've already expressed to me what my thoughts, opinions, directions, details, what that means to them. So I can't help but consider that in how I move, especially in front of them, with them, to them. And it's like when I'm sitting witnessing, you know, so many strong words, kind words. Oh, this messed me up. Oh, you know, this messed up the hood. This messed the city up. This, that, or the third. Oh, you encourage it. Like, man, do you know? And I'm knowing this person needed to hear that. They needed to hear how much they were loved, needed, honored, respect. They needed to hear that. They needed to feel that. So I just encourage anybody, you know, everybody is not the type of person that I am, you know, very vocal and, you know, inspired, unapologetically able to say, hey, this is how I feel, good, bad, or indifferent. Everybody does not have those characteristics. I understand that. But you could write a letter, you could send a text. You can't do it face to face. You could send something. You can get that message to them in some kind of way if they mean anything to you. If they presence hold any weight in your life, in any kind of way, for whatever reason. If you just like the fact that every time I see you, you look good, I appreciate that. I just love to lay eyes up on you. You make my eyes smile. You look so good. You hear me? Whatever it is that person does to you that touches your heart, make sure we get we need to get in the habit of letting people know just what it is they do for us, especially when they do they big one for us, when they really do something and it's good. it works well for us in our life, whatever it is. Let's get into the habit of letting these people know that they hold weight in our heart and in our mind before it's too late, before they leave here. Because all the posts in the world after they gone does nothing for them. Nothing. It may do something for their legacy, for their children or their family to know this, that, or the third. It does something for their legacy, but it did nothing for them while they were here if they didn't know that you felt that way. So like I said, let's be intentional about making sure people know how we feel about them positively before they leave this earth. Y'all enjoy your day.